YouTube. This is my 1975 Yamaha MX125, and I'm trying to keep it as original as possible right now. I did end up buying a plastic kit. It was about $200. Not bad. The fenders were just pretty far gone. They were very, very yellowed. Side panels were also yellowed pretty bad. There's one of the originals compared to the new. I did keep this, which is some kind of maybe aluminum, I'm not really sure actually. And this was in good condition, so I kept this. The tank's original, and the frame has not been touched yet. I did take the springs off, powder coat them a chrome finish, and I also took the wheels and actually just scotch-brighted them with aluminum cleaner because they were all aluminum. Came out real good. So where we're at now is the carburetor's off. I did get the bike running, but it was really swinging, almost falling off idle. Pretty much could only run on choke. It ran good, ran around the block. But when I took the carburetor off, I did realize I had a little of a problem. That was hanging on by literally a strand. So it all unspooled. That's the rest of it right there. And to take this out, it was soldered. It's a solder joint for this 2-in-1. So it looks like there's some form of a crimp on the end of this. Maybe it's solder. I'm gonna try to burn it off. Let's try to push. It pushed straight through. So now I have an extra cable here. This end right here fits in the slide of the original carburetor, and I'm going to cut it to length. Not relevant to the throttle cable, but I took the carburetor apart, and this jet, I forget what they call it, it was completely clogged in right here. You can't even find this carburetor actually. This is an old Mikuni, really 34 on the engine side, and the airbox side 44. So the RT100 is a different size carburetor. The inlets are not the same as this, so I did find a rebuild kit for this carburetor. Cleaning the jets would have been easy, but of course the gasket tore when I took it off because it hasn't been apart in a very, very long time. Okay, on to the throttle cable. Propane torch, solder, and some flux. I turned it upright first, push a solder through it, and then I soldered at the bottom. I'm going to try to put the carburetor back together with the old gasket, which I sandwiched back together very tightly, and hopefully it doesn't leak. The throttle cable's been reassembled, and I greased the inside of the cylinder. That way when it pulls both cables, it's a smooth pull. Now I will note that I backed out the idle adjustment all the way, and my carburetor happens to be completely closed. I don't have any more adjustment. There's an expansion nut right here that expands and tightens the cable. I should have given myself a little more leeway. So I'm wide open, all the way shut. So I'm good, but it was almost by luck because the factory cable was all the way tight on the adjustments. So I had no way to pull slack. If this was any shorter, it wouldn't have even made pretty much my throttle, cracked open like this, like a fixed idle that I couldn't have adjusted. So make a note of that, of where your adjustments are on your cable. Okay, the carburetor's cleaned. I also had to pull the choke apart on the car because it was getting jammed. I guess a grain of sand or something got in there, but I took it apart and polished it, cleaned it. This will be the first start. Cross your fingers. the carburetor is great. I still want to find a new gasket for it since I kind of tore the old one, but it doesn't seem to be leaking because it's just like a paper gasket that's layered. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do about that. But this thing runs great, and those are the original tires. They're actually dated 1974. Unfortunately, they do have a little bit of splitting in them. Yeah, can't really see it. But man, this thing is just so cool. Still got to get the side panel on right there. Get the black vinyl for it. Get the black vinyl for that. And then obviously to match that. So I'm not really sure how far I want to bring this. It's like, do you leave it a survivor or do you fully restore it? I'm kind of torn in the middle. It wouldn't cost too much to fully restore. You know, powder coating, maybe $200 for the frame and the clamps, and then, you know, the engine, the exhaust is just high temp paint. So of course then I have to rewire the wheels. I could tear the tires up trying to get the wheels off, the tires off the rim. The snowball effect could happen. So let me know what y'all think. Once again, thanks for watching and stay posted. There'll be more video coming soon.